Welcome to another episode of Try Bonsai, formerly Potting with Shalon. Right. Before I start, I'd like to thank you so very much for joining me, and I'd also like to say a special thank you to Mr. Nigel Saunders again. You know, for those of you who would have looked at the last video that we did, we had a very nice conversation with Mr. Saunders, and you know, it's just one of many to come. So thank you for that. And you know, there would have been a lot of pointers, a lot of points that would have been discussed in that video. So I hope that it was inspirational for not only people who are into bonsai, but for those who are thinking about getting into bonsai. You know, it's a really beautiful art form, and it's something nice that a lot of people could partake in. Anyways, so what we have happening today, as you can see in view, we have two ficus trees. And these two ficus trees are two fusion ficus trees. So here you have this ficus, this retusa that was fused, and it's a matter of getting this smoothed out to look like one tree. And here we have another ficus. These were three branches that I cut from a ficus tree growing wildly in the park, and I experimented with it. I did a couple things with it. I fused it, and then what I used to fuse it, which was wire, cut into it. So I had to mount up the dirt to try and see if I could create another radial root system, because I could not get out the wire, and as the tree was growing, it was biting more and more. So, my friends, as you can see, this is in a pot not necessarily ideal for creating that nice root system. So I had to take it out. So there you have it. This is out of the pot. So my friends, let's get to work on removing this soil and see what type of root system we have. Okay my friends, so I was able to remove the dirt, and I was also able to wash out the roots with this ficus. Now, ficus is a species that is very forgiving, and you can do this type of work with a ficus and it could survive. It could dead too. I ain't saying that it can't dead. It could very well die. But we could do this type of work with a ficus. Now, to add a little more context, let me see if I could find the point at which the wire has bitten in, and here is that point where the wire bit in, but it's as though it healed over that completely. Now, what I would have done, I would have mounded up the dirt to encourage roots at a higher plane to, for lack of a better word, so to reset the root system, to start over a new rooting system. And all of these nice young looking roots are a result of that piece of work. But with ficus, and as you can see what I'm holding in my hand here, is a bulbous root. So what I have to do now is to remove some of these bulbous roots and restart this project. Well, at least from the ground up. So the fusion has already taken. Now it's a matter of getting that great root system. You know, there's an experiment that I tried with a candle tree that I have, or candle trees that I have, and you would have seen that in one of my previous videos where I have a candle tree forest. I took the roots and I planted them, and they gave me new trees. So according to one of my partners, sometimes some of the best material has come from under the ground. So this bulbous root here, I want to take this back to this point here. You see this, friends? I don't know that this could cut this, but we shall see. So we're working our way around, trying to save as many of the usable roots as possible, and we're removing everything that we don't want. What we have happening here, we have some roots coming out from this point here. We have an aerial root from this point. Root here, root here, root here. Now this is a little bit long. I want to cut this back a bit. So I'm going to do that now. As you can see, this is a testament to how many branches we put together. So 1, 2, 3 main branches that we put together, and we did a fusion. So from this we had some roots coming out of it, and then with the mounding up of the dirt we got further some more roots coming out at a higher plane. So guys, I have done this piece of work. I have to step out. Funny, eh? You start a piece of work and then you have to go and do something. So my friends, I am back. It is the same day. I'm saying it is the same day. I just had to go out, so I changed my t-shirt because I was rather sweaty because of the heat and the humidity here. I have here in my left hand 2 possible pots to put that first fusion ficus. I have a smaller circular concrete pot, and I have a much larger pot. Now, according to we here in Trinidad, common sense go dictate. I don't think the larger pot going to suit this ficus right now. It is in recovery, so what I want is for it to start to build that nice root flare in this pot. You know, we will work on the roots, work on the roots, work on the roots, and then eventually we will move into something larger. It may not necessarily be this large circular pot. It might be something overall or something. As we go along, you know, how the thing just happen based on how I feel and based on what I see as we continuously develop this tree, we will pick something to suit. But for now, this, my friends, I believe will work just fine. This is just what we need for this tree at this stage. Wow, my friends, breeze is blowing really very strong. Super, wow, you can see it on the plant, really very strong. Woohoo! Alright, my friends, so now that we have potted up this fusion ficus, one of two fusion ficus plants that I have, trees that I have, we're going to get to work on pruning back this growth in towards creating that nice canopy in the future. So my friends, originally this was a triple trunk. 1, 2, 3. Right? 3 branches that I took and made a fusion with. Now from this, it has developed a 4th trunk quite low down, as though it's a fusion as well, but it's a branch that is coming out from quite low, and it has an aerial root down to the bottom here where my finger is pointing. I don't right now want to remove this because although it's a ficus and although they are very tolerable, they take a lot of, I don't want to say abuse, but they could take a lot of jamming and recover. I still want to give it the best possible chance. So this, even though it's going to thicken up this, I will reduce this branch or this trunk to an acceptable point somewhere around here and allow for this root to develop and allow for all the other roots to develop and possibly new roots to develop, right? So my friends, the first thing I'm going to do is to get it out of this bucket and look at the roots, because I'm pretty sure I have some really big cuts to make to this root to start a nice root flare. Alright my friends, so I was able to clean off the roots and wash off the dirt, and as you can see, look at roots. Wow, wow. So I have some things to take off. I have an idea as to where I want my root plane to start from. So I'm looking at somewhere around here, so right, and let's get to work. As I said, sometimes The good things come from under the soil. Something Nigel said, you know, about blazing your own trail. And in an interview he had with another bonsai artist, I can't remember his name, apologies, he spoke about not necessarily following or mimicking the same things that the Chinese and the Japanese did, but you know, to create that bonsai that is synonymous with your culture and your people and your country and so forth. And even Peter Chang alluded to something of the sort. Bonsai, as we know it, is an art form. And an art form, when you're asking someone to produce a piece of art, you don't ask them to recreate something that was done before, but to be original in their piece of work. And even though there are fundamentals in every discipline, there are fundamentals, you know, ground rules as it were, or baseline rules as it were. You can then take those and add to it to create your own style. Yeah. So listening to that piece of information coming out from Nigel and from Peter, and I'm sure somebody else would have said it as well. It says to me that I need to create my own trail, my own bonsai trail, you know, and do work that really and truly reflects the artistry or lack thereof of Bana. This, my friends, is me delving and trying bonsai. Hence the change in name. As I was saying, the change in name makes it more synonymous with what I'm doing, because this allows for a lot of people to see that this is not an unattainable art form. Anybody could do this. Anybody could try their hand at this. You may not necessarily be the best, right? Because there are many singers, many mechanics, many mathematicians, many whatever you call it. But you may not necessarily be the best, but you strive to be the best. And in striving to be the best, you develop your own style. And nobody could take your style away from you.